David is an elderly professor of literature, living a life that at first glance seems free and full of pleasure. He avoids long-term relationships and encumbrances, preferring short-lived romances with young women. One day in his course he meets a student named Consuela who immediately attracts his attention with her beauty and elegance. This encounter turns his world upside down, forcing him to reflect on his age, vulnerability, and what he has missed out on in life. At first, Kapesh maintains his usual approach to women, trying to act carefree and easygoing despite his growing feelings for Consuela. He begins to see her more often outside of the university and their relationship grows closer. Consuela, despite her youth, impresses him with her maturity, manneredness, and confidence. He enjoys watching the way she moves, the way she speaks, her attention to detail. Gradually his obsession with her grows, but he tries to hide it from himself and her. They spend a lot of time together and their romance becomes more passionate. However, despite their mutual attraction, there remains some distance between them. Kapesh is afraid of getting too close. In one of their conversations, he confesses to his friend George how much he is attracted to Consuela and how it affects him. George, who is also an older man, shares his thoughts on love and passions, warning Kapesh of the possible consequences if he allows himself to wallow in these feelings. Kapesh and Consuela's relationship continues. He constantly feels the tension between his desire and his fear of losing control of the situation. Consuela invites him to a family event graduation party that she will attend with her parents. Kapesh reluctantly agrees, realizing that meeting the family means more than just another phase of their relationship. He feels uncomfortable at the party, seeing the young and beautiful Consuela surrounded by relatives and friends much younger than him. He feels that he looks old and out of place in this society. After the event, their relationship continues, but Kapesh begins to feel increasingly vulnerable. One day Consuela informs him that she wants him to take nude pictures of her. This moment becomes a turning point. Kapesh, who has always considered himself a man in control of his emotions, realizes that he is in love. He finds it hard to accept this fact because he did not believe he was capable of such feelings at his age. After the photoshoot, the relationship between the two becomes strained. Kapesh begins to doubt how serious Consuela's feelings are, and this increases his fear of an inevitable breakup. He fears being rejected or losing control of the situation. At one point he accuses her of wanting to leave him, and this leads to an argument. Consuela, hurt by his words, leaves. This breakup becomes painful for Kapesh, although he provokes it himself. He realizes that he has made a mistake, but does not know how to remedy the situation. Time passes and Kapesh continues to live his normal life. He meets other women, but none of them bring him satisfaction. He often thinks about Consuela, about what he could have done differently to save their relationship. One day he meets her by chance on the street, but she is no longer the girl he was once with. She seems more mature and confident, and he realizes that he missed the opportunity to be with her. After a while Consuela calls Kapesh out of the blue and asks to meet. He agrees, but inside he is filled with anxiety and uncertainty. During the meeting Consuela informs him that she has breast cancer and will have to undergo surgery to remove her breasts. This news shocks Kapesh. He realizes that despite all his doubts and fears, he is still attracted to her. He begins to realize that his love for her was real, but he was unable to express it properly because of his complexes and fears. Kapesh agrees to support Consuela during this difficult period. He accompanies her to the hospital where she undergoes an operation. At this point, he realizes that their relationship has changed. He no longer sees her as an object of desire, but rather as someone who needs his help and support. This sense of responsibility and care helps him deal with his inner fears and accept his love for Consuela. After the surgery, Consuela goes through a difficult period of rehabilitation. Kapesh continues to be by her side, but he realizes that there is now a different bond between them. He sees her vulnerability and fragility, and it makes him rethink his views on relationships and himself. He is no longer afraid of being weak or vulnerable in front of her. Despite all the trials they have been through, their relationship is not restored to its former state. Consuela is grateful for his support, but she realizes that their paths have diverged. Kapesh, on the other hand, realizes that he missed the opportunity to be with the person who was truly important to him. This realization leaves a deep wound in his soul. The story ends with Kapesh alone, reflecting on his mistakes and missed opportunities. He realizes that his fear of aging and attachment caused him to push Consuela away. Now that she is out of his life, he feels deep regret.